Hello, everyone. It's Tommy Lee Hayes Brown with Rito Recognition. I am the Vice President of Public Relations and Social Media, and it's my pleasure to be with you here today to talk about how to turn your employees' winter blues into red hot passion and performance. I've got my red on today. Today is Valentine's Day. I hope you will be with the one you love, or at least speak to them. And I also hope you don't just use this day to acknowledge and recognize those that you love. You know, that you're doing that all year long. But it is great to have a day to kind of put the stake in the ground and say, I love you, wife, husband, mom, dad, kids, whomever it is. So I'm glad you're with me today. I chose this topic because it is something that until I started researching it actually for this webinar, I didn't really understand fully, but I knew it was something that a lot of us struggle with as managers and supervisors of employees. It's really hard to get people to get motivated during these winter months, especially if where you are is cold. You know, there's just somewhat of a downturn after, you know, the holidays, the new year, all that celebration, all that busyness going on. And then now you're stuck with a brand new, fresh year, trying to prepare yourself professionally to meet your goals, personally to keep your resolutions. It can just, and then the weather outside, you know, is not cooperative for a lot of us. It can be really, really challenging. So I chose this topic, how to turn your winter blues into passion and performance for your employees. For that reason, hopefully I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the winter blues. It really is a medical condition. But before I begin, just a couple housekeeping things. If you do have questions and comments, you can go ahead and press that button there on your screen, and you will be able to submit them. And if we have any, I'll address those at the end of the webinar. And also just want to make sure that you understand I am not a doctor. I am not a physician. That, you know, I did a lot of research in preparing for this webinar, but please consult with your medical authority professional before doing any kind of treatment, including exercise or changing your diet or anything like that. Only you and your physician know the best thing for you. So let's get started. So winter blues. The struggle is real. And you see my little snowman there. He's not having a good time. Just some quick facts by the numbers. You know, winter blues is a medically recognized version of seasonal affective disorder. So seasonal affective disorder is the big umbrella, and under it, winter blues is definitely a medically recognized version. And that's just kind of the doldrums. You just really don't feel like yourself. And it's mainly due to the lack of sunlight, vitamin D, and just the dark days. So 6% of the US population is affected with seasonal affective disorder, and about 14% of us have those winter blues. So you might be wondering, why are we talking about this in the space of human resources and employee recognition? Because it's a costly illness. You know, depression in the workplace costs over $26 billion. And while all of that is the big overall view of count of depression, you figure that, you know, probably between 2 and 4%, depends on the experts you consult, of that is caused by winter blues and the seasonal affective disorder. So you definitely want to pay attention to this. If you've been in management long enough, you will know and you will have observed there's just sometimes, depending on where you live and your staff, that there's just this almost grinding to a halt when it comes to performance and production. So we want to, first of all, help you identify seasonal affective disorders, or SAD, we use as an acronym. And then we want to also give you a couple tips that either we found works for us here at Rito, or we have gotten from the internet. So we compiled them all for you, and here we go. So seasonal affective disorder, it's a form of depression, and it appears between fall and winter. And it's caused by the shorter days, and because there's shorter days, shorter sunlight, there's a lack of daily sunlight, and there's a lack of vitamin D. So a lot of us are affected by that. A lot of us have genetic disposition for depression. Geography plays a part of it, where you live. So if you're in the more northern states, where you get more snow and you get less sun, you can be affected by it. Your brain chemistry, that's definitely has something to do with it, because some people's brains relate better to the lack of sunlight than others. Gender, women are 4 times as likely to suffer from SAD than men. So that definitely plays a part of it. And age. Older teenagers, adults in their 20s, 30s, and 40s are the ones that are most affected by seasonal affective disorder, which makes sense because that's the age range that's probably out in the sun the most. So they would be the ones that would miss being out there the most, causing this snowball effect in seasonal affective disorder. So all is not bleak, all is not lost. We have the ability to decrease employee sadness. So here's a few tips. So most of these we've tried ourselves here at Rito, and some of these are brand new. We've gotten from other sources. Go outside. You know, there's nothing wrong with going outside in the wintertime. A lot of times we never even think about taking a walk or eating our sandwich outside at the picnic table. If it's a clear day and the weather is semi-nice, just because it's wintertime and snow on the ground doesn't mean you can't go outside. It's always good to shake up the norm and present your employees with something different. So brown bag it one day and say, hey, let's go outside and picnic table. Let's bundle up and go outside and have lunch instead of staying in the stuffy cafeteria, getting some of that vitamin D from the sun and improving our mood almost instantly. Use the time to strategize, revamp. You know, a lot of the times we do this in the fall, preparing for our new year. Why not go back and re-strategize, look at some of those goals, get that energy up that we had towards the end of the year and transplant it over into January, February. Get away from your computer. You know, the cute computer, we all know you sit in front of it all day long can almost feel like it's sucking the life out of you. Get away from it. Some companies have even had a no computer time where, you know, in the Friday afternoons, you can't use your computer. You have to get up and you can't write an email. You have to get up and go talk to someone. That human interaction helps to spark energy. And again, getting away from your computer and having someone to talk to face does wonders for your mood. Group activities, this is pretty self-explanatory. Doing things like an escape room, going bowling. At Rito, we recently took our holiday party from December to January, and it was received very well. It was something to look forward to for January for a lot of us, and the employees had a great time. So consider doing something group-wise and doing something to shake up the status quo. Create new projects. This is a great time to get together in a room with a bunch of diverse people that you may not work with on a normal basis and say, let's kick this ball around. We can never get X, Y, and Z solved in this company. Let's use this time when we're all not really feeling like the best because of our SAD or because of our our winter blues, and create new projects. Positive environmental items. So this one is eye-opening for me because they sell lamps and they sell light bulbs that mimic the sun. They have the same rays and that you could get outside, but all you do is replace the lamp on your desk with one of these special lamps. Plants is a big cure or helps ease SAD. Just having the extra oxygen in the room and the foliage, as you see here, I have a little lemon tree back here. It brings me a lot of joy. It smells wonderful when it blossoms, and it keeps me excited about the spring to come, because right now, I don't know if you can see, but it's starting to flower. And after the flowers come lemons. And so that really makes me happy and keeps my mood up and keeps my, it's a natural room deodorizer. So plants definitely can lift your mood. Allow work flexibility. You know, there's, depending on your work environment and what you have going on, allow employees to work at home or allow employees to come in and drive when there's light. You know, a lot of times they have to, in the wintertime, have to drive into work when it's dark. It can work wonders for your mood. Help kickstart a pet project. Give your employees a pet project or give them a project that they've been wanting to do and say, hey, let's take January and February to really concentrate on this project you've been talking about. What support do you need? Get them excited about work. Again, connect face to face. Leave the computer alone. Walk over. Get off your hiney there and walk over to your coworker and say, "How you doing?" Small talk. Just getting up a few times a day and leaving your computer or phone behind does wonders to increase your human interaction and does wonders for improving your mood. Recognize, celebrate, and surprise. In my opinion, you can never do this too much. Recognize everything. Make sure that you have some of those fun parties and barbecues that you always have in the spring and summer. See if you can move some of those to the winter. Uh, Make sure that you're focusing on recognizing your employees, making them feel good. All those touch points that really, really concentrated at the beginning of the year when they need it the most. Make the goals bite-sized. Sometimes we can get overwhelmed by goals, and they seem too big, and it just adds to our misery, our winter misery. Encourage your employees to make them bite-sized. Instead of giving them a whole big thing to do, maybe give it to them in little chunks so that they don't get overwhelmed and they can keep their mood up. And focus on wellness, both mentally and physically. Let them understand, let your staff know. Tell them about SAD. Maybe it's something that they've never thought about. Tell them you understand. And even if you're a manager who doesn't get it because you love the winner, you have to be empathetic to those who do. It's a concrete, it's real, and it will really affect your results. So you need to take it seriously. Encourage employees to focus on wellness. Go together and to a yoga class. Bring a guest speaker in, somebody to motivate them do a brown bag lunch in the cafeteria. Bring someone in to focus on wellness, a yoga class, anything you want. Just get away from the status quo, shake things up a bit, and make your environment one employees will want to be in. So that is the end of my presentation. One last tip: adopt a pet. Pets have been shown to definitely reduce stress. So if you have a pet at home, go ahead and spend extra time with your pet. Maybe even see if your work environment. At Rito here, we allow dogs to come in and be with our employees. And it makes for a great work environment. So, make sure you cuddle your cat, pet your dog. And if you need a dog or a pet, visit us at rito.com/giving back. Visit our kitty corral, and there's links there to places where you can go and find a pet of your own. I'm Tommy Lee Hayes Brown. Before I sign off, I just want to see if there's any questions, and we have a couple. So it looks like Jack is asking, one second. Are there any employee programs that treat this condition? I'm not sure, Jack. You would have to contact your human resource specialist, and they could tell you specifically what your benefits cover. Every employee is different, and every health insurance company is different, but it is recognized in the mental health community as a condition. So my unprofessional advice is yes, there definitely is recognized by the medical community, but whether it's going to be covered under your specific plan or your specific company's plan, I have no idea. You would have to check with them. And should treatments like this be treated like depression? Yes, well, it is definitely a form of depression. Of course, there's various degrees of depression. So, but yeah, it should be treated as depression depending on the severity of it. So I am not giving you any medical advice, but I would definitely advise you talk to your doctor about what you're feeling. Tell them about SAD if they don't know about it, and do your research. Come in there prepared to your doctor. Talk about SAD and the things that you can do. I have read that things have been treated a bunch of different ways, but most of the time, getting more sun, moving your seat or desk over to the window if you can, switch with someone who's not as affected by this, getting outdoors, letting yourself be part of the environment that's going to shake things up and and surprise you, and just kind of get out of the cookie cutter January, February type of things, and kind of just inject more excitement into your day. Again, I'm Tommy Lee Hayes Brown. If you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to contact me. There's my contact information. You can reach me at tommylee@redo.com. And there's my toll-free 800 number, extension 436. Again, thank you for being with us today. And I hope you have a great Valentine's Day and hope you beat those winter blues. Take care.